Hello, I thought you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear, listening into another Magic discussion. And yes, I do know it's been a while, and I apologize for that, but I wanted to come up with a good concept before I made another video for the series. Kind of picky like that. So, Mass Effect First Contact War. Somebody's going to wonder why I'm asking to do this on mobile. I'll get to that in a moment. First things first. In Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect trilogy, the first three games, we learned about the first contact war between the humans and Turians. You basically get most, I think you get most of the information about it in the first game, or at least I just didn't pay attention to other sources of information on it for the other two games. But either way, you learn about the first contact war through the original Mass Effect trilogy. I don't know anything about Andromeda. I've not played it yet. Probably will. But that aside, we know that the human-Turian First Contact War has a definitive ending in which the Citadel Council stepped in and stopped it. They stepped in and put a stop to that war. We know that for certain. It's in the story in Mass Effect. It's there. There's no changing that. We know that that is it. So there could be a game for this series built around the idea of the First Contact War. That could be a prequel game. It could be, and it would. I could imagine something where it plays similarly to the multiplayer in Mass Effect 3, where you're set up with squads and groups and dropped off to secure or take a location. That type of stuff I can see happening. And there could be a single player type story element added to it if they wanted to do that. But for the most part, since we don't know anything about all these particular Marines or soldiers or anything for the humans or Turians, we could really just have pretty much just about anyone be a special soldier that took lead in a situation or not. So, like, this could be a game full of custom people, like custom players playing these different roles for the humans to secure their place in space, basically, and for Turians to defend themselves or conquer humans, whichever way they were trying to go. I don't know. But no matter what, there's the possibility, because we don't know any of these soldiers. There's a possibility that a couple of the soldiers that you see in the game, a couple of the older ones like Admiral Hackett or even Captain Anderson, they possibly could have taken part in these wars, but for the players, you'd see them as NPCs. You wouldn't really interact with them very much, and you wouldn't be able to play with them. And but like there might be some chance that if you're playing as a human character, and I would make it so that you could play as both human or Turian. And since those are the races in the war, I'd have it so you could play as a human or a Turian. Like for human candidates, you'd see Admiral Hackett and Captain Anderson before they were Admiral and Captain, respectively. And I think that could actually be, quite an interesting thing to play through. And why am I saying mobile? Obviously, I'm saying mobile because it's easily the biggest audience to capture. I'm not saying that the game couldn't be made to be put on other platforms, but I think mobile would be a good place to start. And then from there, make it cross-platform playable on any other device that it ended up on. So if the game did make its way over to PC, cross-platform play with the mobile counterpart, and being able to do cross-save, so you can take your data to whatever platform you're playing it on, and you can continue your game. And I know somebody's going to wonder why I would say this, but that would require an Origin account. Don't hate me for saying that. I'm just saying because EA has Origin set up already, it would be a good way to be able to transfer your data back and forth. Don't kill me for for that. But And I was thinking about a team that would be good for actually making this game, that has made plenty of good mobile cover shooters, And if anybody's listened to my channel before, you would know that I'm talking about Mad Finger Games. They would be perfect for making this. They'd be the perfect team for doing this. And I could see them working under EA and BioWare and putting this together and making like a really awesome game out of it. And this is something I would love to see. And again, I'm saying put it on mobile so that you can maximize the number of people playing. Start out on mobile and then move to other platforms if they really want to. But starting it on mobile, it gives it a jump. And it's not like EA isn't jumping into putting games on mobile. They've been doing it for a while now. But this is a way to put out a high quality mobile game, one that a lot of people would want to play. And on top of that, it could help, rebuild the reputation of the Mass Effect franchise, because EA has kind of sullied it a bit. Just honestly, they've kind of messed up the reputation of the game. There are still people who are fans of it, but in the long term, the franchise could have been much more than what it was, and I think EA kind of squandered its potential. This is a way to take back some of what that potential is and show it off. And doing the First Contact War is a great jumping off point, because again, it's something we know happened in the series. We know a lot of soldiers took part in this war for both human and Turians. And many of those characters don't have to have any level of importance to the main trilogy for Mass Effect, outside of that they were a soldier in this war. That's really it. I mean, and then you could possibly learn of people like, Commander Shepard's parents. Because if I remember correctly, they were soldiers in the Alliance military. I don't know for certain, but if they wanted to go that direction with it, they could. And again, we wouldn't ultimately know what their fates were. We just know, hey, these are Shepard's parents. Because there's multiple ways that story can go with him starting out. Like, you could have him be an orphan, meaning his parents died. I forgot the other two paths. I can't remember exactly, but there's a few choices. But you don't have to meet them in any situation where it's going to be alluded to them dying or not. You could just meet them. Simple as that. Even at the beginning of the First Contact War. Because they had to have been alive, because Shepard was born during the First Contact War. So again, it makes sense. Just, again, my perspective, I think it would be interesting, be fun. And I know Madfinger Games can make a really decent cover shooter, and it can play really well on mobile when they're the ones developing it. So that's why, again, this is why this came to me. You don't have to agree. You don't have to like the idea, but again, just hear me out and understand where I'm coming from. But that's really it. I would like to actually see Mass Effect become the big franchise it can, and this is one way it could start that step to that direction. So thank you guys very much for listening in. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me, and until the next time, enjoy your games and peace out.